everybody.
Welcome back.
It's your boys, Brandon.
And Josephina, whoever I am today.
Josephina. Okay, she's here, and she is ready to let it go in this episode.
Yes, let it go. This ice queen is pissed.
Yeah, pissed as in drunk? Because I'm gonna get pissed. Cheers.
We got some blue teenies.
Blue teenies. With a blue curacao or...
Oh.
Hell, I wish I was in Curacao right now.
Right?
Yeah.
On a cruise ship, maybe, in Curacao?
We don't talk about cruise ships right now, but we will talk about the Snatch Game episode, so let's get into it.
Let us get into it.
The girls come back in from Nikki Doll's elimination of Nikki.
I love Nikki.
Yeah, Nikki was fun. Am I as devastated as Rockham's elimination? No, not really.
Now both our crushes are gone. Who are we gonna root for?
That is true. Those were the two that I was. Well, Rockham for sure. Y'all know how I felt about Rockham. But Nikki Doll was cute. I gave it to Nikki, and you was gonna give it to Nikki.
Yeah, I was gonna give it to Nikki.
Maybe you still can.
All right.
But they're gone, and so once again.
Oh, sorry, that was a tribute to Rockham.
We passed that, girl. We did that last episode. Yeah. We ain't gonna do her again.
And once again, we in the workroom, highlighting this villainous Britta against Aiden.
Oh my gosh. But apparently Untucked was messy. So like we said last season, we don't ever watch Untucked unless something really jumps out. This one, I caught the clips of this. Yeah. And apparently it was a lot of, well, I'm in the bottom. Why were you safe?
Oh, them houses trifling.
Yeah, and then so Heidi realizing that she was in the bottom during this Untucked, while all the other girls were like, Aiden, why are you safe? I did this, and I should... Heidi was getting her lip sync ready, and she came over, and she was like, at the end of the day, it does not fucking matter. Because she is safe, and that's not up to her, and I'm about to lip sync for my life, so I gotta worry about Heidi.
Amen. All right, that's why I fuck with Heidi.
And you would think that we wouldn't have this segment. Again, talking about Aiden and comparing yourself to Aiden. And Aiden, I think, has had the perfect attitude this whole time.
Right.
At the end of the day, it is what it is. All we can do is fucking slay.
They like it. I'm here. If not, whatever.
All right, so let's talk about RuPaul coming in the workroom and breaking up this drama.
Yes.
This bitch shows out this week with a beautiful suit. This is the first boy look of RuPaul season that I actually liked. What'd you think?
Oh, man. I loved it. Well, this isn't the first one I've liked, but yeah, this was great. This like hunter deep green with black glitter diamonds.
Yeah, it was like embroidered onyx flowers or something. I don't even know what the pattern was.
Yeah.
So, it was hot. It was sexy. And the black open shirt. All right.
Yeah.
RuPaul's back, bitch, as a boy.
Finally.
Because this hoe was trifling for a while because those looks were, ooh.
I saw the preview of what's coming next week. I know you'll hate it, but I'll love it because RuPaul and I have the same favorite colors. But RuPaul only stops in for a second because it's Snatch Game. And you know with Snatch Game, we don't need a mini challenge. That episode writes itself.
Yes.
So they get ready for Snatch Game, and Ru comes back in
with special guest Vanjie.
Miss Vanjie.
Come through, Vanjie. Your ass sucked at Snatch Game, and somehow you still get invited to come back.
This was so confusing at first because I'm like, wait, she went home first on season 10.
Yes.
So didn't get to do a Snatch Game, and then came back on season 11 and was in the bottom. Was in the bottom,
yes,
honey.
But then she explained, I'm here to show these bitches what not to do, and she threw shade at herself the whole time. So, all right, I'll give it to her.
Yeah.
But did they listen? No.
Ooh.
We had a couple nice moments in the workroom as they walked around.
Yeah.
We had Crystal Method.
Ru has got to let this go. What is going on? Crystal just wasn't even alive for it, honey.
Elder Barge, let it go. So
my question is this. So Ru tells her, ask her who she's going to do, like we always do. And of course, they only show the ones that we're suspicious about.
Right.
Because if you know your character, there's nothing to say.
Yeah.
But so Crystal says she's going to be Poppy. I don't know who that is, and I assume you don't.
No, you already know the answer to that.
Okay. So Ru immediately goes, well, why don't you do this person I actually do know? Because once again, I'm judging this show. Hint, hint.
But here's the
hint.
thing. That's all great. That would be fine and fantastic if you knew that person and had a connection with them or had enough, like, in your arsenal to know their mannerisms and the funny things they say.
Yeah.
How are you going to walk around and be like, oh, you should do this. Oh, Heidi, you should do this, bitch from Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah, that's what I was kidding. Yeah.
I'm like, don't give specifics. Like, oh, you should do this. Oh, but she don't watch that show. That bitch don't know what that is.
Yeah, well, she did say, I was surprised that she did say she didn't know the Housewives of Atlanta. So that was gaggy and enough. But again, that's kind of like the producers pushing who they want to see on the panel through Rue. My question was, why were there so many people that had already been done suggested? Because Kennedy Davenport did Phaedra on All Stars 3. So why were they trying to push Heidi to do her again?
And they're like, use the Southern accent. Girl, there's a ton of people. Just say that and let Heidi think about if you want to do somebody with a Southern accent.
That note was good. Rue said, why don't you play someone closer to home? Because the people that really bomb usually are either way off base or they're playing someone too straight.
But here's the deal. If you're going to do something that is not of 70s, 80s, or even 90s reference, you better be over the top funny and just be so crazy that they're laughing the whole time even though they don't know what the fuck their references are.
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to make pop references to the past 10 years... RuPaul and Visage and none of these hoes gonna know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, and especially now, the current landscape, who are the pop stars? Billie Eilish? Love her music. She's not funny.
Yeah, she would not be a good one to do.
Right.
But see, the robot that Gigi does is a perfect example because they give her an excuse and they say, whoa, ooh, girl, I don't think so. Yeah. We don't know who that is. We don't know it. And, and Gigi, God bless her soul, came right back and said, I hear you. I hear your concern. I don't have the same concerns, with all due respect. Fuck yeah, Gigi, come on.
Gigi,
and she delivered. Yes. And then the other, Crystal Method has a breakdown and is like, I know I'm going to suck at this because I was bad in the first challenge.
Yes.
And it's like, then maybe you should run with the suggestion, right?
We have Snatch Game, and our panel... Our panel are the guest judges for the episode.
The Mean Girls boys.
Yes, Daniel Francese.
Yeah, Daniel Francese.
And I was worried about pronouncing that because I don't like Italian. That's why I didn't look at you. And we have Jonathan Bennett.
Yeah.
And the sexy Aaron Sam.
Yeah, he's looking fly. They were pretty good judges for...
because they get
for Snatch Game.
They are fans like us.
It was a funny one. And we had some standouts, as always, and we had some wah.
Let's go through the panel real quick so everyone knows who did what. First, we had Heidi.
Heidi kept the Leslie Jones alive.
Which was so funny. Because she was just on the show and she just put on what Leslie had on where she was a judge.
Which was funny. And she did a wig reveal too, which was kind of... Which I always like when they change characters.
Yes, that was really funny. And then we had Jackie Cox as Lisa Rinna, who's been on the show.
That shit was funny. She did great.
To a T.
Yeah.
Actually, spoiler for later, I thought they were going to give it to Jackie because Jackie played Lisa Rinna, who was the special guest on the very first episode, or time they did Snatch Game in season 2.
Really?
And because Tatiana did Brittany, and Lisa Rinna was like,
I got lost. She used to live around the corner from us, and so I saw her a lot, and you nailed her.
Y'all are playing on reference on a Drag Race reference, so maybe it's Jackie's. Maybe. And then the third seat, we had Jada Essence Hall as Cardi B.
Yeah.
I thought she looked good. I mean, you're not going to get Cardi B's face, because she has a very distinct face.
I would have liked to have seen more of what she did, but the editors robbed us of that. Apparently it wasn't really good or wasn't really bad. So you got very little screen time of Jada as Cardi B.
Yeah, which is odd because Cardi is a character. Like, if Jada did it, it should have been there. So,
well, then again, that's looking back and editing. And by the time they edit the Snatch Game, they already know who's winning and who's safe and who's in the middle. So they're like, let's just not edit much of her this week.
Yeah, and the same that I felt with our next contestant, Miss Bernadette Peters, played by Jan.
Yeah, Jan. Jan had all the reference points.
Yes.
As a musical theater queen. I'm like, okay. But, all she was doing was spouting lyrics to roles that Bernadette Peters did.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, and it's like, all right, give me something. Like, even go to, like, Bernadette on her film work and, like, Mozart in the Jungle and how crazy she was and things outside of Broadway.
I would have done Cinderella from the 97 with Whitney Houston and Brandy.
Yeah.
Bernadette was a stepmother, so I would have been falling in love with love. I would have done that, Bernadette.
But at least she knew her references. They just weren't that funny.
Fair.
So...
and then on the end of the top row, we had the Widow Von Du.
Yeah, speaking of giving us a reveal and a change of character, we have Tina Turner and Ike.
Okay, so I think who's the first? I think Bob was the first person to change characters.
Yeah.
Because Bob went from Uzo Aduba to that Carol Channing. And ever since then, I feel like there's always somebody that's like, I want to try that. I want to do it.
I think Tina and Ike was a safe bet. Was a good...
Safe.
Yeah, but...
Because there's stuff to play with, but then there's some unpleasant stuff that you really don't want to joke about.
Well, is that why that never came up? Because I was waiting for it. This has discipline and this has respect.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Give me a line of cocaine.
Not in a hypocritical Alyssa Milano's Me Too movement. Girl, Tara Reid exists. Don't get on Twitter acting foolish, Alyssa.
These millennials.
She's like 42. Okay.
Whatever. All right, then down on the bottom row, we have the robot, Gigi Good.
Maria the robot.
That shit was really good. So when you get to do physical humor, I think someone complimented her about the physical humor, too. Was just really, really stinking funny.
It was smart because it's a robot. That's something that's easy to translate, to get across.
Yeah.
And they don't have personalities. So she, like Michelle said, you could call Rue a bitch. And it's funny because it's a robot and you're just saying whatever.
Yeah.
So.
But even all the lines she had were just delivered so impeccably. That was really funny. Next down there we had Aiden.
Aiden was giving, what's her name?
Patricia something from Magenta from Rocky Horror Picture Show. Patricia Quinn.
Thank you. Patricia Quinn. Aiden, baby girl. She loves to go obscure.
Right.
And no shade to Patricia, but like that that Silence of the Lamb cape.
Yeah.
We all said, where was that?
Yeah.
I put up the picture. It's in there, but it's like hanging on a mannequin in the back. So I feel like this was another choice like that.
Yeah. And it's like, this is just a tribute to Aiden's personality because Aiden, I wouldn't say Aiden's boring, although she does look boring in comparison to these other loud, like, over-the-top queens.
Yeah.
But she's just very subdued. And in a competition like this, those tiny little things, the devil's in the details, right? Look to Gigi Good for that because she's very detail-oriented, meticulous with her looks and things. But Aiden, it's like... And then she looked funny as Patricia Quinn. She came out dressed like a comedy queen. I was ready to laugh when I saw her.
Oh, she was giving me Tammy Brown in 20 more years.
Right? And she just didn't, and then to find out later that Patricia Quinn's British and she didn't even do like the British accent. I'm like, what?
No. Oh my God. She didn't know what year they filmed Rocky Horror. I mean, and then everyone's like, why didn't you play her as Magenta? That's what people can latch onto. And I'm like, oh, Aiden, girl.
Or at least if you're gonna like play her as the older lady, that she like slips back into Magenta. Like if she doesn't know where she is, then she's just back and saying those lines all the time.
That would have been smart because they ask her later, like, why did you pick this person? And Aiden's like, well, because I met her. Well, glad you met her, but you got to teach her about the people at home who have not met her.
Right.
And we're not going to see all that from her film roles.
Right.
Like, she's not going to be on set being like, oh, I don't know my lines, I forgot, and all this, and I take all these drugs. But I was happy that she was down to hit a blunt.
A blunt. Because if I had one of these right now, I might remember where the hell I'm at.
She pulled the blunt out.
She was down for a blunt. Girl.
Speaking of blunt, next was Britta. Britta need to hit a blunt. This was something. This was Jennifer Holliday. And pretty much all she did was open that big ass mouth like the whole time.
Let me ask you this. What else could she have done as Jennifer Holliday?
I don't know. I would have chose Jennifer Holliday.
That's the correct response. That's the flat out correct response because no shade to Jennifer Holliday. Diva, Tony Award winning diva. Okay. But what else do we know? Besides, I mean, she has a music career. The only thing else I know about it is that she was going to sing at Trump's inauguration, and when people shaded her about it, she said, I didn't realize it was that heated, and backed off. Okay, I give her props for that, but what about that is going to win you Snatch Game?
Nada. Moving right along.
Okay. You heard it.
Crystal Method as Poppy.
Poppy.
She did it, girl, bitch.
I'm into Pop. I am going to research all of Poppy. I'm going to get all Poppy's albums. I still don't know anything about Poppy as we film this, but I'm ready.
It is. She did do well at making the audience curious. Mm-hmm. Even when What's-His-Face goes, yeah, I went home and Googled Poppy, and I still don't know what the fuck she's about. It was like, that's the way I feel, too. It's like, I want to see what this, because the characteristics that she was giving, and the face, and just the mannerisms, were Snatch Game worthy. But it's like, you got to have something funny to say, and be able to improv, and go back and forth, too. Yeah. When someone sets you up, even if it has nothing to do with Poppy, then make a joke out of it.
Yes,
and own it.
Yes, and. I mean, even as Poppy, yes, and Ru was trying to help. Yeah. Ru was throwing everything.
Sing one of those. She was like, sing the thing. I don't know what Poppy sings like, but she should have got on there and like, I need to warm up.
Right. Or just went, or get like, oh, sorry, my auto-tune's not working.
Right?
Like, and, okay, we gotta move on from that, too, because that's upsetting.
Last but not least is everybody's favorite, Sherry Pie.
Sherry Pie as
fucking
my 4-time Academy Award winner, the best film actress to exist, Miss Katharine Hepburn.
Now, just as a side note, when I met Brandon, he had a rat named Katharine Hepburn.
I too.
Yeah, and one was Betty Davis.
Betty Davis and Katharine Hepburn.
And I believe he named cars after Katharine Hepburn too. Didn't you have a car?
My cars were also named after old Hollywood actresses. So I've had Betty Davis, Olivia de Havilland, who's still with us at 104.
17.
Yeah, she's still with us though. There was Joan Crawford, and the last to leave us was Miss Katharine Hepburn, The Expedition.
Yes.
So Sherry Pie is Katharine Hepburn. She chose to go older, Golden Pond Katharine Hepburn, and that is the smart thing to do. Yes. Because Katharine Hepburn did take herself very seriously as a person, and she had a very confident, strong mannerism, which is not humorous. But when you go to the older Kate, that's and
the writing on the cards, I think everybody fell out. That was the biggest laugh on set and in our living room that we got, was when she pulled up that card that looked like the lie detector test or something, and she said, "It's obvious what it says. Ducking fish."
I hate that we are cutting Sherry out. I hate what she did. Yeah. I hate that we have to cut her out and cut around this because it's taking away some of the enjoyment of the show.
Yeah, it really is.
Because she killed it.
So overall, really kind of good Snatch game. You didn't have anybody that was like an epic fail.
No.
I think, which was good.
No one completely bombed, but there were only like 2 to 3 strong anchors, really. Yeah. Jackie, Gigi, and Sherry were really the anchors.
Yeah, they were really good. All right, so let's get to the runway. Let's talk about Ru's look this week.
Yes, Ru comes down the runway and no, croc.
You didn't like it?
Croc.
I thought the fabric and the mesh up of like the folded up crap looked like
the way it was draped. Yeah.
I mean, it was so much fabric, that thing had to weigh a ton. But she had this big pink wig on, which I kind of loved.
Yeah.
Like the accessories. The accessories what made it. The silver highlights and the dangling earrings. She had big earrings.
Okay, so what?
The bracelet.
Oh, okay. Work. He loved it. I thought this fabric looked cheap, and as I'm sitting in here with stuff that looks like that fabric. I will say I appreciate her trying a new wig. Yeah. Trying a different style. I don't think she's ever done that peachy pink lilac color or anything in the pastel family.
It looked good on her.
I liked it from the neck up. I did not like that dress. I thought it was swallowing her, and I thought they didn't go together.
Fair enough.
So, Croc, Ru.
Let's get in the runway.
Inspired by the Broadway musical. Category is Frozen Eleganza.
Speaking of Frozen Eleganza, what are you serving today, Mr. Coppridge?
Frozen Eleganza. Okay, so here's the thing. Yes, I'm reusing the same set from episode 3 because I did not know this was coming. So we are in the icy set again.
Good.
But I served an icy look, which was sickening. Okay, fur gloves, cape, all that. Y'all saw it. So I couldn't repeat. So what was I gonna do? So I just went back to my roots. I'm a go-go boy that got out of a blizzard. Work, it was a white winter party. I just got off work, got a couple of dollars here, got my custom harness on. Yes, I made this. Yes, thank you.
Yes, good work.
And I'm ready for the after party at Motherlode.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess the size matters thing, that explains the blizzard. All right. Just kidding.
Your look, ma'am.
I am giving some Frozen. This would be Elsa's aunt from Dragageddon.
This looks like a Dragageddon. Okay. Yes, you said that. You said it. Okay, Dragageddon.
I live on the north side over there where the memories are. Whatever.
West Arendelle. Okay.
West Arendelle. I just thought I'd practice a little makeup today, a little drag makeup.
Okay.
We getting there.
He's beating faces, girls. So call him.
Let's do it.
All right.
So this runway this week left the mind and the imagination to wonder. We had some really good looks. Our first girl on the runway this week was Heidi, Nina Closet.
Heidi, Nina Closet. Ooh, and she looked good. You know what? I don't think I've ever done this on this show. I'm going to start things off. Highest heel.
Bitch, you stole my highest heel.
We can have the same highest heel. That means she turned it. I am starting it off highest heel. She gave me female Pope in the winter. Yes. She was giving me white Christmas.
Yes. What do you call that thing that you put your hands in?
A muff.
A muff, yes.
Her muff was huge and stuffed. Ooh. Her mucklucks were on.
Yeah.
That cape looked like my cape, so I appreciated it.
It was incredible. This was the best look Heidi delivered. And the makeup was like spot on for a Frozen Wonderland.
She looked good.
It was just, it was amazing. Highest heel. Next down the runway was Jackie Cox giving a snowflake eleganza.
Yeah, now I will say this battled very closely with Heidi for my highest heel.
Yeah, this was good.
This was really good. She was giving like if Elsa's Kingdom was in Vegas and she was at the casino doing a show that night, but she was the head girl.
Yeah,
this would have been the head girl.
The big petals, the Frozen type petals. She was wearing blonde for once, which Jackie's a little darker complected and doesn't like blonde, she said. And it had sort of this mermaid tapered bottom to it, which I thought was very elegant. When you do that well and you can only take these tiny little steps because you're tapered so much at the bottom, to me that reads elegance. Heel,
Jackie. Next on the runway was Jada Essence Hall.
Yes.
And my God, Jada looked good.
We started strong. We had really good looks on the top of this runway this week.
Yes.
Jada was serving sort of like this Lady Liberty icicle woman.
Yeah.
It was very powerful. She had lots of legs.
Yes.
She was showing off a lot of skin. I didn't like the way it looked like it wasn't finished. At one point, I thought part of the flowing was attached to her heel, but I think that was just a mistake. That was like
because the fabric was gathering.
Yeah. And then once she got up to the top of the runway, it had released. So it was like the toilet paper on the shoe moment.
Yeah, someone said storm in a storm. I was like, yes, Aurora Monroe. That's my girl.
Yeah.
She served it.
But that's a heel. Then we have Jan giving some prosthetic. What'd you call it?
Like latex, rubbery, silicone
with a reveal.
Yeah, I really liked this because this, I forget, I think it's in Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
The George Clooney, Art Schwarzenegger, that one.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I always thought it was weird the way when he froze people, it was just like a vibrant blue and the way it like swooped to the side.
Oh yeah, it seemed like you got shot in the face by a freeze gun.
Yeah, and so Jan was giving me that.
When she came out and put her head down and shook it off, and then all of a sudden she was painted split face, sort of like Ice Princess Cruella de Vil, half blue and half white.
Yeah.
And
it was drip. I love the way it dripped when it moved too.
Yeah, it was a really cool, innovative look. Heel.
Then we had Widow Von Du.
Widow coming up with a concept. She decided to go Titanic.
Yes.
She said it was a period outfit. I don't know if that's true. It looked messy to me.
The period was High School Musical? Is that the period?
She blew up a huge inner tube to put around her.
Lifesaver, yeah.
And it looked like...
she said it was a lip sync for your lifesaver.
So it looked like some of the foam and the stuff that we just used with Jan, she picked it off the floor and stuck it on her face.
Yeah, it wasn't enough.
It was like, if she wanted to act like it was Titanic and they were freezing, she should have did more of like a cold makeup like we see at Gigi coming up.
Well... I will say, in her defense, she might have but she's a dark-skinned woman, so those blues and the icy things that, unless she did a white base first,
oh yeah, I mean, come on.
But she should have went. You're right. It's no excuse. She should have went for it. This is tough.
Croc, not tough for me.
I have to give it a croc. I give it a heel for the concept, but Josh is right. It is not enough at this stage. Croc.
Yeah. Next down was Gigi Good, giving her milkman/woman ice cream fantasy world.
Oh,
she is so stinking cute.
Gigi took me back to the 50s in this cute little ice cream parlor girl.
Yeah. And I guarantee if that bitch were the milkman in the 50s, the suburban daddies would not be going to work. They'd be going to work, but not at the office.
Or maybe not, because Gigi's fluid, so she might have been stopped by the mamas too.
Maybe.
Who knows? But this was spectacular. And you guys know I love details. And when Michelle was like, look at that pink nose, look at the little freckle dot.
Did they mention that? Because I didn't think they mentioned the freckle, like the icicle, like freckles that were.
Michelle Visage.
She noticed that.
She knows and I'll give her credit, because yes, people get on Michelle about being fashion, but she's also a nerd. So she'll give you just as much credit when you cosplay right.
Yeah.
When you do whatever you do right.
Yeah.
She'll give you your credit.
Yeah.
So she clocked those details. Heel, Gigi.
It was a heel for sure. Next on the runway, we had Aiden Zane.
Aiden Zane. Oh, Aiden, I loved this.
I like this look too. I like the fact that it was, the dress was beautiful and served me elegance. It had the white, what do you call it? Feathers or boa type fabric around the gloves, the long gloves she wore around the top.
And then, yep.
And then she did the cutouts of the abominable snowman.
I like this because Aiden has always been saying, I have a minimalistic style. I'm not just going to bling, bling and throw it on. And I thought just having it here in the wig and having it here on the neck was enough and fit her style. She also had contacts that were white. I wish she just would have went full white contacts, but she had black slits in them.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
I thought it was full white contacts that had, like, fucked up in her eyes and had moved.
Later, when they're shading her and they're like, finally, we're going to put you in the bottom, that's when they zoom in and they started all the things the girls had been critiquing, these little details, and they're saying Aiden's... This episode was when they were like, okay, now we're sending you home. Spoiler alert. Now we're sending you home, so now we're gonna zoom in on those to let people know, yeah, you're a mess.
You're a mess.
Which is a shady.
I don't think it was a mess. I like the look. I'm gonna give it a heel.
Oh no, I'm gonna give it a heel. I'm just saying the show now is done with Aiden.
Yeah.
Was done. And so they went in pointing out all the flaws. Yeah. And the other thing is, she only has 3 wigs, because she had her Patricia wig, which was new, but then she had a Pussycat Black, and this wig was the Peg Bundy wig.
Oh yeah.
From the Ballers. So
coming back out. Next down the runway, Brita Filter. Minus the filter.
Copyright.
Oh,
oh, not for us, for the show.
Yeah, I see.
Okay, Brita came out, and while I thought this gown was impressive, and I would love it for so many other things, when I think about Frozen, I just do not think about those warmer colors.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I thought it looked a mess with, like, the weird blue colored wig she was wearing.
The wig was wrong too.
The wig was wrong. She did put in some of those like shards in the wig, so it tied it together. She tried to tie it together, but I thought it was ugly, and the judges liked it, and I thought, ooh, what are they seeing?
I see why they would like it, because it is impressive, and the material of that gown is very ice fantasy.
Well, it's sort of fashion too. It's like I watch Project Runway and I'm like, that is ugly. And the fashionistas are like, this was so glorious.
Yeah, like Michelle winning All Stars 7.
Some people just don't have it, and that's me with apparently my fashion eye.
But the more I looked at it, the more I realized that I can't give it a crock, because it was well done, and it did answer the challenge of icy Frozen fantasy, because she could have been somebody in like Frozen 3 she was like the spring fairy, and Elsa was like, no bitch, I got you, and froze her up from the bottom, and this last little part was the only part of spring left.
That's a big leap to make. Croc. See you later.
Fred, I'm gonna give you a heel, baby. You need some friendly faces right now.
Then we got to see Crystal Method come down with a surprise look this week.
Crystal, oh my gosh. Heel. First of all, heel. Loved this. Her face was she was Mrs. Freeze down.
Yeah.
In the face.
Yeah, and the look and the little action she did before she walked off the stage. Did you notice that?
No.
She did like a Mr. Freeze, like, I don't know, movement.
Mr. Freeze has Parkinson's? What?
I can't remember what it was, but you can look back and see what it was.
Okay, just for Josh's sake, I'm going to use my editing for Josh's sake.
Thank you.
I'm going to put it right here.
All right. So she did, it was great makeup, I thought.
The outfit itself, when she first started, I was like, what are these pajamas?
Yeah.
This is, no, girl. But when she took off the jacket and had that silvery charmeuse blouse.
Oh, charmeuse.
Yeah, with the drape down, it was chic. Chic.
He liked it. I hated it. Let's move on. Croc.
Okay.
And then last down the runway. Oh, wait a minute. There was no last down the runway because they cut cherry pie out of it.
Okay, so no. What you're not going to do is have a bitch in the episode, have a bitch walk down a runway in said episode in a look that some designer worked really hard to make. If you want to punish Sherry, blur her face out when she comes down that runway.
Oh, no, her face looked good, though.
That's fine, but she did her makeup that day. That's not on a designer.
Yeah.
But to cut out a designer's work who probably put in time, effort, knowing that this work was going to be seen.
Yeah, I get it. They're getting complaints from the millennials saying they're so offended that Sherry would do something that would offend them because they're always so offended all the time. Everything's offense to a young person these days. And they're saying it's so easy to complain. Yeah. Oh, you didn't cut Sherry out enough. Oh, you could take her out of the runway.
Yeah.
And so they took her out of the runway, but then she was in the top. So it's like, you have this 6 of them standing up there.
Yeah.
Thank God, because I love that look, and I was glad we got to see it.
Ooh, okay. Well, Croc. I'm going to put it up. We're going to talk about it. Croc. You know why it's a croc?
Why?
Because that wet hair look was messy. If you were going to be in the winter, why would you have wet hair? That is the first way to hypothermia. Secondly, I wonder because Sasha Velour is a New York queen and Sherry is a New York queen. I wonder if they got the same designer because this was literally the same dress Sasha wore for the white party in season 9.
Very similar, yeah.
I think it is the same dress because it was this white old lady with these glitter like patch like diamond looking things, and it was very like to the ground with a flare, and it had like 2 layers to it.
See, I love that. I love the flare at the bottom. I don't know. See, you have so many references, and you know what every bitch wore in every second of every show ever filmed for RuPaul. So it's I thought it was great. I liked the top hat. I did like the slick down hair. It was different, and I liked her makeup because it was so elegant, I thought, compared to like the old ladies that she's been doing for the Katharine Hepburn and the old mama from last week. So I would have given it a heel.
You would have? Give it a heel.
Give it a heel.
Give it a heel. I'm going to give it a croc. And the other thing, well, I will say this for my Pokemon fans out there, she was holding Mr. Rhyme's cane. Okay? If you do not know who Mr. Rhyme is, the evolution of Galarian Mr. Mime, who is an original Pokemon, but when he went to this new generation, he became an ice type. So now he's frozen. And so now Mr. Rhyme is like a Charlie Chaplin looking mother sucker. And
I like the cane. I liked her blue contacts and lips and everything.
Oh no, we've moved on.
All right. Okay. Let's get to Brandon and Josh's tops and bottoms. I have a feeling that we are like almost right on the exact same this week.
Okay.
Let's start with bottoms.
Okay, let's start on the bottom.
Who did we think was lip singing this week?
So, for me, the bottom, and yeah, we've already compared notes to save us time this time. So we felt that on the bottom, it was going to be Britta, Aiden, and Crystal, because those Snatch games were atrocious.
Yeah, and I had a close Widow Von Du in the bottom, too.
Girl, we don't need you to make a bottom 4 just in case, okay?
I'm just saying.
So stop it.
I'm just saying, I didn't want you to think that I was now a Widow fan because I gave her such praise last week.
You hateful bitch. If she wasn't in the bottom 3, you could have kept her name out your mouth this week and just let 1 week pass when you don't go in on Widow. You already gave that bitch look a crock on the runway, but you could have just let left it at that.
Yeah, and I knew this week we were going to have a lip sync royale battle with Britta and Aiden with all the drama they've been highlighting. And they started the episode with that. I would have been gagged to get out if they would have sent Britta home, if Britta would have.
Right? I was kind of.
That would have been funny.
We'll get to that. So that's our bottom three. Yeah. Britta, Aiden, lip syncing. Crystal, close, but that look, girl, saved you.
Tops. I also, to make it even, I also did throw in 4 tops there. I thought
to take 4 tops.
Baby, any day of the week. I thought the winner was going to be Jackie Cox because she was so funny in the Snatch game, and her look on the runway was really elegant and beautiful. Strong. So I had her. Of course, I had Gigi in the top two, as well, and Heidi because of highest heel.
The look, yeah.
And then, of course, I put Sherry as a question mark, like...
because you didn't see her look.
Well, because I was like,
because we didn't see her look until after we did Brandon and Josh's tops and bottoms. Yeah.
But I knew that she was, like, pretty much the winner of the Snatch game, or one of the top 3, so that's why I put her in the top 2. And I knew she would serve a look. She always does.
Yeah, that moss look. The judges agree with us, pretty much. I think. Yeah. Exactly. Jackie.
Yeah, this is one of the first weeks we've been like right on the money with each other and with the judges. So.
Gigi, Jackie, and Sherry are the top 3.
Gigi good. I scream, you scream, we all scream for you, Queen. Congratulations, you're the winner of this week's challenge.
Gigi is our winner, and I'm not mad about that. I just felt like it really could have gone to Jackie.
Yeah.
I think it should have gone to Jackie.
Throw a bitch a bone once in a while.
Just make this an even competition because Gigi already won the ball. Gigi was in the top 2 the first episode, and Gigi's not ever gotten a bad critique, so we know she's going to do fine. If you throw Jackie a bone, it keeps the season guessing. Like, ooh, who could take it? You build more suspense in your season.
Yeah.
But then again, they didn't know the thing with Sherry, so they were probably playing a different game.
I have a feeling they were tailoring Sherry Pie to win this season because my Ohio Queen was such a huge hit last season, in season 11. Everybody loved Nina West, and she's very similar in aesthetic to Sherry.
So, but in the bottom 2, Crystal gets a pass on that look. And it is finally time for Britta to say, look, I'm the New York Queen that can outperform anybody.
Put your money where your mouth is,
Let's
bitch.
Go, Aiden.
Right?
I'm going to send you home like you should have been.
And Aiden, as suspected, was a boring lip syncer.
So the song is Let It Go from Frozen. The wonderful Adele Dazeem tears it up.
You could deliver on that. You could have did something more than what Aiden was doing. Hell, I could have did something more than what Aiden was doing.
Aiden
let Britta take center stage. And upstage her 3 or 4 times. And it was just like, she was done. It was almost like there was no fight left. And when we say there's no fight left, sometimes I'm like, I don't know. But this was defeat.
I think for Aiden getting on the show to prove all those girls in Atlanta or anyone else she had a problem with, I think that was her only real goal.
Yeah.
Her goal was not to come here to win. It was to do her best, but when the veneer of whatever she had fell off and the judges were finally going at her, I think she was over.
I still think RuPaul or one of the producers found her in a bar somewhere and was like, we want to bring you to the show and put her as a filler bitch on the show, and then didn't want egg on their face, so they drug her along for 3 weeks.
Oh yeah. And I hate to say this, but it's true, and everyone who watches the show knows. The reason why strong girls from your hometown audition year after year and don't make it is because they gotta balance it. Yep. And there's gotta be some filler bitches. And Aiden, you are talented. I want to see more from you. I can't wait till this is all over and you can come to LA and I can see your weird flair and aesthetic. But girl, you were a filler bitch this season.
There you go. You and Widow filling.
I am going to take my drink, take my dollars, and go on the street. Well, ain't nobody on the streets right now, so I can't make no more money. So we just gonna get the hell out of here. Okay, bye.
Until next time.